Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to 24K Gaming, Movies, TV shows, reviews. Yes, that's right. We are back with another one on the day of the eclipse special, which means if this is my last review, I hope it's a good one. And it is. So today we are coming from a TV show. Now, most of you probably don't know. I don't know. I have audiences all across the age genre. But this is for the old people. If you got a little gray sprouts, then chances are you know where I'm coming from. You know where I'm coming from. So, ladies and gentlemen, back in the day, I really only watched a TV show if it had a banging intro with an amazing song. Y'all know this. 21 Jump Street, that's... Yes. Iconic things that when you just hear the first opening seconds of it, you're automatically hooked in. Today's TV show changed the face of television forever, and arguably is one of the best, most dramatic, amazing TV shows I've ever seen in my entire life. Now, this show encompassed more than 480 stars, movie stars, TV stars, people you know today, from music, television, comedies, big blockbuster movies. They all have cameos in here. Too many to name. Every season had about maybe 30 or 40 cameos. People are just like, oh my God, I can't believe she was in here, he was in here. Absolutely amazing. Now, when I give you the first couple of seconds of this boot up, you're instantly going to know what I'm talking about. All right? So I want you to sit back, relax with your favorite bag of snacks, and get ready for these tracks. Because, baby, this is 24K, and today is today. So we gonna do. So just listen, keep your ear out. I want y'all to hear this. So you ready for it? I might actually flip this around for you. There you go. Check this out. Y'all gonna know what it is. I'm probably gonna get gigged on this, but it is what it is. You know what that is right there, right? Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna get gigged for this. I don't care. It's alright. This was the shiz right now, man. This was the shiz. Y'all don't understand. There was nothing like this on radio, screen, or cable. This was live. This was Miami Vice. This was the world-changing event. And you don't understand how deep this goes. This right here, this is the official. Burn. That's what I'm talking about right there. Y'all don't know about that. 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 My oldies, my goodies, y'all gonna feel that. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Y'all know where you was. You know what you was doing when popped up, because you know what you was watching. Some of my fondest memories come from Miami Vice. Oh my God, this was before Law and Order. This was before the Hill Street Blues. This was before the ER. This was before the Mike Post and the amazing Law and Order theme. This was the beginning of a change in television. And this show went there. Drama, drugs, some of the titles I can't even pronounce, which is taboo on YouTube, but I will say, if it was a topic, they went in on it. And when they went in on it, they did not shy away from it. Let me tell you something. One of the most famous episodes from Miami Vice comes from, well, first of all, you have Don Johnson and you have Philip Michael Thomas, Crockett and Tubbs. But when Tubbs goes back home to Philadelphia, well, I just say it. Phil Collins in the air at night was one of the most iconic scenes. They played the full song on television with my man riding around in his black convertible. It was just a movement. The whole blend of actual secular music and television being put together like that, it hosted a kind of dramatic event that you really didn't see much of until New York Undercover. New York Undercover was another TV series that came out with cops that literally encompassed music that was secular in the world, popular music, things that was in there and out. And one of my favorite iconic episodes is, I'm actually gonna have to find it and just watch it one day. But I was sitting back watching this episode about these drug dealers, and it was like, yeah, we're going to the club to meet so-and-so. I forget what his name was. And they're at this nightclub, just like out of Scarface. You can hear the music, you see the people dancing, there's drug dealers everywhere. And in walks this man in a white suit. And I was like, now remember, this is before it came out. So I had to actually go back and retroactive and watch it again, because the first time I saw it, he wasn't known for what he was known for. And I know I'm building up the suspense to it. So back in the day, he wasn't famous for nothing. So it didn't really mean nothing. But I would say you go fast forward to 1992. I decided I wanted to go back and get all the Miami Vice episodes and watch them again. And I started watching them. I was like, yo, is that Brad Pitt? Is that Denzel Washington? Yo, tell me that is not a very... Yeah, it was like that. Like, you kept seeing them in there, and you're just like, oh my God. Like, but at the time, remember, they weren't big. They hadn't blown up yet. So it wasn't a movement until you go back and rewatched it that you realize how much of a movement it was. And the episode in question I'm talking about is, this guy walks in to meet Crockett and Tubbs, and he's got these white shoots on. He's got the white suit pants, the white suit jacket, the chest open with the taco meat hanging out with the gold chain, the fur. And then they panned from the feet all the way up to his face. And I'm like, is that Al Bundy? Is that Ed O'Neill? Yes, the hell it was. He played a major drug dealer. And I went back and saw that, and I could not breathe. I was laughing so hard, because this was before he was known as Al Bundy. This was before Ed O'Neill had carved that role out. This is when he was just a man breaking into acting, and he was a Brazilian jiu-jitsu expert. He had so much going, so he had the dramatic chops. And the funny part is, the entire episode, I'm waiting for him to be Al Bundy. And that was a harshness to me, because he was truly a dramatic actor in this. Like, there was no Bundy. He was a dramatic actor, and he did some violent things. He killed somebody, and it was a way of seeing Al Bundy that I had never seen before. And I don't know what motivated him to take Married with Children. I'm glad that he did, because it changed the focus of my life forever, seeing him who he was. But I kind of feel bad that he was pigeon-toed as this comedian, funny guy, because if you go back and watch the episode, he is an amazing dramatic actor. Like, so much to the point where I was just like, oh my God, I was blown away by his range. And so I think sometimes we forget these actors. Some of them are classically trained. Some of them are real actors. Some of them went to acting school. Some of them went through drama. Some of them were in stage plays. Some of these people have classic acting chops. And I remember I was blown away by his performance in a Miami Vice episode. And let me explain to you. Each episode is like an hour long. So each episode was like a movie in itself, a self-contained movie. And some of the episodes went deeper than others. Some of them, it's almost hard to put into words. You have to experience it for yourself. I would say there's no impossible season to start with. Start with season 1, where they had Hector Rene Elizondo, and they had Sandra Santiago and Crockett and Tubbs. Go back and watch the beginning. James Edwards Almost. Go back to the beginning where they had all these, the first season, where they had all these beginnings, because you start to see the genius in what this show would become. It ran for 5 seasons, but back then seasons were longer, episodes were longer, and they premiered more than they did now. Now you get 6 episodes and they're like, yep, that's the season. That's the season? Yes, that's the season. 6 episodes. That's what you get. Back then, some of them had 23 episodes. Some of them had 30, 36 episodes. They went where they went because their job was to entertain. And I think television has forgotten this modicum. Miami Vice is definitely one of the series that flavored me that television can be a genre to really get into and watch. Some of the episodes parents didn't want children to watch because back in the day, like I said, they did tackle heavy subject matter. Drugs, alcohol, pedophilia, rape, murder, everything that you love about Law and Order. This was before Law and Order was Law and Order. This show helped pave the way for TV and cop dramas like Law and Order and all the other procedural cop shows that you watch. There were no things where people wore sunglasses at night and they did stupid lines like scene of the crime and stuff like that. No, this was real. It's almost as if you were watching a bunch of detectives live on TV. It was an experience, and each episode, like I said, was an hour. So they were like self-contained movies. Each episode was a movie, and then you had some that was part 1, part 2. Some of the actors got killed. Some of the cops. It's a flavor and a taste that is very few and far between inside television. Hell, even movies have trouble tackling the content, the brilliance, the way they did here. Mike Post and Jan Hammer, they got the music on lock. Like I said, it was amazing to hear these songs that you were listening to in nightclubs and on the radio actually being performed inside on this television show. I mean, it's the style, the clothes. It was a movement by itself. It accompanied this whole Miami look at the time. The netted shoes, the jackets with the elbows already rolled up to the... It's impossible to give you, but if you look back and said Miami in the 80s, Miami Vice, that's all you need to say. That'll give you a look into everything. The drug scene, the human trafficking trade, police, the neighborhoods. I liked that it wasn't... How can I put this? This was before any kind of woke thoughts and politics were out there. The show was what it was. They wanted to tell a story. This was the story. They fought with the network over a lot of episodes, but this is just what they did. It's what they did, and I'm so glad. I am so glad that this show made it to air. I'm so glad that I was a part of this movement, and I'm glad that we have television that we can look back and go on this. Pause. Big pause for what I'm about to say. Big pause, because I'm going to flip it around so you can see. Big pause. Yeah. So that's Don Johnson with the man bangs, the little t-shirt open with the taco meat sticking out. You see Philip Michael Thomas Tubbs there with the little curl and the long hair going. I thought he was black, but you realize he's actually, I think he was from the islands. But looking at just the flavor, the hairstyle, just my boy, Edward James Olmos. That's my boy right there. Sandra Santiago in the back. This was, like I said, this was groundbreaking. And the fact that it started a movement that the world wasn't ready for. I don't know how they approached the network and the network gave them the go-ahead, but I'm so glad it was greenlit because this show is on another level, another platform. So much to the point, let me stop that for a second. So much to the point that if you put this on now, today in 2024, on your television and you start watching, this fits perfectly with today's society. The fashion's a little bit off, but then again, it's so much time has passed that some of the fashion is back in style. I don't know if anybody gonna wear the Crockett and Tubbs jackets and stuff like that now that everybody got their own swag style. But the content and the energy and the emotionality is something that you can watch today, yesterday, 4 years ago, 5 years from now. Miami Vice changed television forever, and I am so glad that I lived through this opportunity to experience it. And I have all the seasons, and I used to watch pretty much it maybe once or twice a month. I would put it on and just burn through the entire series because I like seeing actors that became big. Bill Paxton is in here. Like, there's so many actors to name. Like, they said it was over 400. Bruce Willis. It's amazing to see. Matter of fact, even Phil Collins was a drug dealer in here. Phil Collins. I love what they accomplished with this series. The screenwriting, the acting, the directing, the stories, the storylines, the plots. They nailed it and hit it. Very few times will you find a TV series that just constantly hit the mark, hit the mark, hit the mark. Some of them you're like, oh, this episode wasn't that good. This was okay, that wasn't that good. I wasn't feeling this episode. I wasn't feeling that episode. Not with Miami Vice. Each one is a friggin' banger, and they go from 0 to 100. 0 straight to 100. Miami Vice is the shiz. And here at 24K Movies, Reviews, TV shows, and games, this is a triple platinum. Easily. There's no thinking. There's no questioning. This is triple platinum. I can watch this yesterday. I can watch it today. I can watch it tomorrow. I can sit back and pop open some popcorn, get a pizza, and just watch Miami Vice. Like, I know y'all got Law and Order, and Law and Order is a great TV show. It's been on for like almost 30 years, depending on which branch you watch. The original, SVU, Criminal Intent. There's so many different Law and Orders, and there's only one Miami Vice. No spinoffs, nothing. Well, I think they tried to do a spinoff, but that's neither here nor there. But when it comes to Law and Order, even as they went along, it started to drop and decline. They ran out of ideas. When it came to Miami Vice, you didn't have any of that. Like, it was talented writing, talented acting, and talented visions. Like, they just went for it. And I applaud that to the highest, because very few TV shows have ever achieved that level of dramatic acting, dramatic storytelling. I love the way this show just ran, everything about it. Different environments, changing, car chasing scenes, boat chasing scenes, airplane chasing scenes. It tackled Colombian drug lords out there in Cuba, Miami, Philadelphia, Florida. It wasn't afraid to tell you the story and go where the story needed to go. And I love that, because some episodes are just like, oh yeah, I want you guys to go check out Mexico, blah blah blah, and bring back and tell me what happened. And then like literally a week later, they're back and they're like, okay, Captain, this is what happened. They don't show you. This place, this vehicle known as Miami Vice, didn't shy away from it. If they told you, oh, it leads down to a drug trade in Colombia, you're going to see the Colombian episodes. You are going to see the forest and the jungles. And like, I love that it went where the story needed to go. And each episode, with the exception of a continuation, there was never really a cliffhanger. It was a full meal. Each episode was a self-contained full meal. And I absolutely loved it. I loved that Crockett lived on a boat, Mr. Don Johnson, with his, what was this crocodile's name? Oh my God, I just had it in my head and it left. Sonny Crockett. He had a crocodile. I forget the name of his crocodile. Alligator. I think it was crocodile. Alligator. It doesn't matter. Anyway.
Talking about Don Johnson's
alligator's name? Yeah. I forget the name. I just had it in my head.
Alligator name.
Was it Frank? Sammy Frank? It was a really cool name. Elvis, there you go. Elvis was the name of his alligator or crocodile that lived on his boat. Philip Michael Thomas had like a loft, an apartment with the gold chains and the suits, but I like the way they dressed them. I like the way the fashion was. I like the way the environment was. Every single last episode showed you the environment. They showed you, let me see if I can, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so like I said, you can stop at any given time and show something. So I'm going to flip this around real quick. Now you see my man, Crockett, Don Johnson on the right. He's got the white suit jacket, a purple underneath tank top. He's got a gold belt buckle, some white suit pants with the netted shoes that I was talking about. They like little wicker baskets. Nice. You got my man Edward James Olmos on the side over there with the hands in the back, the dickies all up. Kind of look like he did in like American Me. Like he has that cholo look, and I like that they didn't take that away from him. In the back, you got his other boy with the Hawaiian shirt going on. Like, I like the style. Like, when you saw the people in the show, you were seeing literally you were seeing the lifestyle of everybody at that time. Racetrack styles, clothes. See, right there, look at that. Do you see what I'm saying? Look at the clothes. And they changed from time point to time point. Look at these guys. They're fashion models. They're cops, but fashion models. And in the background, you pick up Rolls Royces, cars, real things. I'm saying, like, do you see what I'm talking about? This show was above its time and far ahead of it. This is another police officer scene. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, this show was ahead of its time. Ahead of its time. Oh my God, that's Rock. That is The Rock. That is Rock. Now, a lot of y'all, I'm not talking about The Rock, like y'all know Dwayne Johnson. I'm talking about the TV show from back in the day. He was a garbage man. This is Charles S. Dutton. You know him from Aliens 3. This is what I mean when I said you can literally pick any episode, jump in, and there is an emerging star in that episode. Now, this is before these people knew they were going to be stars. This is before the world knew they were going to be stars. They were put here. So that's my boy. And that's one TV show I've been trying forever to get a hold of is Rock. I don't know if you guys, if you watch NCIS, director Vance, Rocky Carroll, that was his brother in the TV show The Rock. And everybody went on to bigger, better things, but The Rock TV show was amazing. I remember Tone Loc was one of the drug dealers in that area that Rock had that falling out and the fighting with, and then they had my boy Pinky, who came into the neighborhood as a big drug dealer, and there was a shooting, and whatchamacallit, Tone Loc got killed. Like, there was... Television back in the day didn't shy away from big things. Not like now. Nowadays, there's so many taboo topics and they're not explored. They're not, like, everybody's just so afraid to tell a story. There has to be inclusion for everything and everyone. You got to check mark this and check mark that, and this person has to be involved. These people have to be involved. You got to have somebody for this. You got to have something for that. You got to have somebody for this person and that person. We got to have the Chinese guy. We got to have the Indian guy. We got to have the Spanish guy, the black guy, the white guy. We got, like, instead of checking off how many people you want to satisfy, just tell your story. How about that? You wonder why back in the day these things were brilliant and amazing and people loved them. The reason why you're pulling from them because of the fame and the intensity they had, you're taking that all out by check boxing every time you do something. And we as people do not want to be pandered to that way. People that you're trying to focus on don't want to be pandered that way. Look, man, we don't care about gender swapping. We don't care about race swapping. We don't care about none of that. Tell your friggin' story. That's all you have to do. You have one job. Tell your story. And I guarantee you, we'll show you the money. You want people to pay and watch your stuff. Show them what you're made of. Tell your story. Don't appeal to a certain demographic. Don't worry about alienating this person and that person and changing this and changing that. Tell your story. Point blank. And I hate to say this because Disney and Marvel, y'all forgot that. A few years ago, 5 years ago, you were making billion-dollar movies and everybody in the world. You were on the lips of everybody. Do you know how you lost that? By trying to satisfy everybody. You can't. This world is made up of 1,000 different types of people. Different races, different sexualities, different ideologies, different religions, different purposes. You are not going to satisfy everybody with one agenda. Get that through your head. And I don't care what projects you make, the reason why they're tanking is because you're trying to satisfy everybody. And the problem is when you try to satisfy everybody is you end up isolating everybody and you end up appealing to nobody. Simple. Miami Vice was a TV show ahead of its time. Some would say even to today, some of the episodes went far beyond where they should have and where they could have gone. And all the actors have moved on to bigger and better things and become singers and actors and Hollywood star walks of fame. But this was the beginning. This was them untouched. And I think I like that more because most of these guys were untouched. This was before money came into the equation, before drugs, alcohol, and everything else came into the equation to ruin some of these stars' lives. More than directors abusing them, more than Hollywood grinding them up and spitting them out. This was the untapped source, and I love watching it because it's raw. It's completely raw, and I love that. And sometimes you have to be willing to go out there and be raw, because life is raw. People's lives is raw. If you want to tell a story and relate to people, be real. This was reality television years before reality television even became reality television. Cops started it off in the 80s with the first reality television show. And the reason why people appealed to that is because it was real. The reason why people watched Cops and they couldn't stop watching it because it was real. You were really watching somebody get arrested, somebody really being chased down. Well, if you want to look for a TV show that is closest to real life, this was that show. Miami Vice. And if you haven't seen it, you've missed out on an entire movement. So I highly recommend you buy the DVDs, find it, download it, reach out to somebody who has it, because anybody who's ever watched it, they have all the episodes. Very rarely will people just have one DVD or one VHS tape or one downloaded, whether you have DVR or something like that, because I believe this is still run on some streaming networks. Check it out, watch it, and decide for yourself. But I guarantee you, the demographics and the numbers never lie. This was one of the most successful TV cop dramas ever invented, and to this day, I still absolutely love it. 5 stars across the board. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this was 24K Movies, TVs, and Reviews. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for running down memory lane one more time. I could go on for the next hour telling you how many episodes I watched that have so many special moments in here. Matter of fact, speaking of Law and Order, Detective Cragen was in a few of these episodes, and he was a drug dealer. Detective Cragen was a drug dealer in a few of these episodes. A very young Casey Jones was in these episodes. Sybil Shepherd. Oh my God. There's so many stars. Oh my God. And I literally just smile and my lights just bright up when I think about these episodes where I was just like, I had to stop, pause, and rewind. See, back in the day we had rewind. It's a little feature with the double arrows on a remote nowadays. A lot of y'all don't know about rewinding because everything is just digital and you just skim and track selection. But back in the day, we had rewind. So on a remote, we had to rewind and you saw like the little static on the screen and it went back to a certain point and you could watch it. Now, the problem with that was if you rewatched the same point over and over and over again, it would wear the tape then, and then you would have to take the VCR tape out and take some clear tape and tape on that little thing and get the little pieces and put the pieces together. So then when you watch your favorite part, it would fuzz out for a second and then come back in. But you was able to repair your own film. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it was. Yeah. So this is triple platinum. Miami Vice. What an amazing experience. What a time to be alive. What a time to enjoy television. The pure joy of enjoying television. See, back in the day, people had times. Oh, I got to get home. So-and-so's coming on. It's going to be on at 8 o'clock. Oh, I got to get home. That new episode is coming on. That's coming on. Miami Vice was among those. Oh, I got to get home. Miami Vice is coming on. Can you record it for me? Can you record the episode and don't talk about it? I want to watch it. The new episode is on tonight. Did they kill off Crockett? Did they kill off Tubbs? Like, yeah. This was one of those things that you couldn't wait to see. You knew when it came on, what time it came on, when the new episode came on, and if you wanted to watch the reruns, you could watch the reruns, but some people would put the VCR tape in and record it, which we know is illegal now, but back in the day, that's how we got our fixes. See, back in the day, there was no stream. If you wanted to watch your favorite episodes and TV shows, you just put that blank TDK VHS Maxell tape into the VCR, you hit record. And if you ain't have that little plastic piece where the tape was, you had to put tape over it so you could record, because they break off the little plastic piece so you can't record. But we just, you say you stick a little piece of paper in there, put a tape over it, and pop it in the VCR and click record. And if you was really good, you paused it and edited out the commercials. But you had to watch the show to edit out the commercials. So if you was watching it for somebody else, you're like, look, man, it's got the commercials in there. I just stopped it and started it. and when it ended, you got the commercials, which by today's society, I actually like, because you get to see commercials that you didn't see back in the day. Like commercials now, people hate it. I hate commercials nowadays. I hate commercial interruption. I hate every 3 seconds you have an ad. You can't skip the ad, then it's ad 1 of 1 and ad 2 of 2. I don't need to know about, you know what I'm saying, reverbing laser hair treatment centers. Whatever. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, whatever it is. You looking at Rock right now. Rock went bald, and he embraced his baldness. He was bald for the rest of his career. This is probably like one of the only times you're going to see him with hair. After that, Rock was just, he was bald. He was a garbage man. And you got to watch the TV show Rock. I'm sorry I keep talking about it. Great TV show, a lot of drama, very serious. And if you ever watch NCIS, Director Vance, that's above Gibbs, he was his younger brother who lived in his house and played music. It was a great TV series, and I like the realism that it tackled too. Underage pregnancy, drugs, crime, gangs. It literally went there. And I miss TV series that are not afraid to tackle real life problems. They did this back in the day. Even the funniest TV shows, I would say one of the last TV shows to actually have this was The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was all comedy, and every once in a while they would just sprinkle in a real life problem in TV show. When Carlton was at the Mac machine with Will and Will got shot, they sprinkled in a real violent moment that touches a lot of youths. Family Matters, comedy, Urkel. Did I do that? Everything over the limit. But there were a few episodes where even they sprinkled in real life. The racial episode where Laura got the N-word spray painted on her locker, where Eddie got jumped by a gang, where the police harassed him for being black. These TV series should be applauded. They should be awarded because they weren't afraid to go where people knew it touched in their real lives. Nowadays, it's just a bunch of bullshit, and I can't stand everything being so woke and so PC and afraid to defend this person and afraid to defend the mouse back in the corner because you put cheese on the screen and you had to make sure it was low-fat cheese. It had to be the right color. It didn't have to be with no frills. It had to be made from a farm that didn't kill animals. Like, stop worrying about the damn mouse in the back and the cheese that you're showing on the TV series. Does the cheese matter? Is the cheese part of the story? Does the cheese work? Then have the cheese in there. Don't worry about offending the mouse. Because for that one mouse that may get offended, you may have 50,000 mice that relate and watch it, enjoy it. That's the whole point. Don't be afraid to tell your story. Miami Vice told a story. Every episode, every season, consistency down to the end. And I'll tell you how good of a story they told. When this series ended, I would say 2 decades later, Nash Bridges came out. Was a TV series with Don Johnson again, where he was in the Bay Area and he was a cop. Had the exact Miami Vice feel. Matter of fact, even one episode they brought back Tubbs. It was a Tubbs and Crockett reunion. And most of you, I don't know if you watch Nash Bridges, what's his name? Cheech Marin was his partner. And it was they were cops and they were solving crimes, and they still had the same thing. Carlton Cuse, I think, and Mike Post had something to do with it. I know Carlton Cuse did, but they tackled real life problems, real life things, and they weren't afraid to go there. I remember episodes of one of the main female cops was targeted by a man who raped and murdered women, and she ended up getting killed, and she was a police officer. There are TV episodes that bring you to tears. That emotionality is meant for movies, but if a TV series can encapsulate that and bring that drama and motion to the lower screen, not the silver screen, the lower screen, I believe they're doing their job as a TV series. And there were some emotional moments in Miami Vice. There were some emotional moments in Nash Bridges. And all my favorite TV series that I watch, there's emotionality in there. Some of them can be just funny and fake, but there is an actual emotionality episode. Even Step by Step had an episode where Dana went out to go see this musical group, and they were telling her, actually Cody and them was telling her that, you know, she shouldn't go. It's a rough place. She could really get hurt and get into trouble. But, you know, she had to do what she had to do, and she went out there and she was almost violated, and Cody and Frank had to show up and fight the people off in the bar. I like TV shows that have realistic consequences for your actions, not ones that just do stupid things. Later on, they forgot about that. Even Family Matters Urkel becoming Stefan. And yes, there's certain things I don't like about them. Some of them are far from perfect. But the reason why we remember them and like these episodes and these TV series is because they had an emotional content that hooked us. Family Matters, Step by Step, Full House, Scene of the Crime, Love and Curses, Miami Vice, Sweat and Bullets, Acapulco Heat, A-Team, Married with Children, Perfect Strangers. I could go on forever. TGIF meant something to us, and we waited for it. Every week you worked or you went to school and you looked forward to TGIF. TGIF was Thank God It Was Friday. And that's when they gave you the best lineup of TV shows that you could watch all at once. All your favorite shows, back to back to back to back. And we lived for TGIF. This is what I mean. Nobody's excited about television like that anymore. Every once in a while, you'll get a TV series, The Last of Us, All of Us Are Dead. I can't even think of too many recent TV shows. Shogun is one of the recent ones that I found that's really good and watched. Very few and far between will you get a TV series that you can look, enjoy, and like and feel emotional content in. Back in the day, they were just hitting them, knocking them off, hitting them, knocking them off. Even Different Strokes. There was an episode where Arnold and Sam got kidnapped by the bike guy. Like, you have to be strong enough to stand on your own 2 feet and go there sometimes and appeal to your audiences. The reason why your audience responds is because you're hitting something that's close to them, something they identify with, something they deal with, something they've gone through, something they know about, and it helps them relate more to your subject matter. This is how a TV series is supposed to go. Nowadays, they just put it on TV. And to quote Seinfeld, when they were talking about putting their pilot on TV, so what is the show about? It's about nothing. What do you mean nothing? It's about nothing. Absolutely nothing. What did you do today? Oh, I got up and went to work. There's an episode. That's an episode? Yeah. Well, maybe something happens. No, nothing happens. Nothing happens at all. So then why am I watching it? Because it's on TV. That's their thought process. I'm so glad Seinfeld hit that right on the nose, because it's true. There are certain TV series that they're on just because it's on TV. No heart, no soul, no emotionality. And you're just like, where did the millions of dollars go into this bullshit? Like, why do you even have this on TV? Why am I watching it? Because it's on TV. And this is why physical media will always be king to most of the world. Because when you guys run out of ideas, when you run out of things to play, when you run out of TV show thoughts and ideas and content, we can go back and pull out that DVD. Some of us will pull out that VHS tape. Some of us will go back to the DVR where we have it recorded on a drive. And we will watch our favorite episodes, our favorite TV, our favorite movies over and over and over again, because we remember a time where it was good to us. We remember a time where we had the emotions of enjoying, of escapism, which is just lost nowadays. And I hate to say it, media has become dog shit. That's just what it is. And I'll say it like it is. I am not sponsored. My voice is not bought. I'm giving it to you real. And you know it's real. The last 7 or 8 Marvel projects failed. The last 10 or 12 Disney projects failed. The last Hollywood movies that's coming out have failed. The reason why they're failing, and they know why they're failing, because there are people who are talented who work in these organizations and they want to change, but they're being told not to change. It literally is a point of view and a narrative that's bought and paid for. And you know what? At the end of the day, if you really want to speak to them, speak with your dollars. Speak with your disdain. Speak with your dislike. You don't have to support crap. And the bad part is, people will watch these things and they'll be like, oh, this was a great movie. It's not great. It's that you've been watching mediocre and trash for so long that the slightest little thing you hold on to as good. You don't have to accept that. You don't have to accept mediocrity. You can accept greatness. Make America great again. No? Too early? No? Nothing? Make media great again. How about that? Make media great again. Can y'all got that? Can you do the how do we do the JPEG? Make media great again. Is that good? All right, we'll do that. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me for this rundown memory lane with Miami Vice. I did not expect to do this. I just popped on every once in a while I'll pop on TV shows just to hear the music and the intros because it awakens something in me from back in the day. And I just popped this on and all of a sudden it hit me how great of a show this was. And it needs to be told. And some stories need to be told. And this one needed to be told. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining me here in Gamer Nation. You know where you are. You know what I do. The eclipse should be coming any minute now. So if this is the last video you watch, thank you. I'm going to post it right now as it's going. Let's hope we all still here tomorrow. But if not, what a lovely way to go. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. And don't be afraid to go and enjoy yourself. Every day is not promised, y'all. Don't put off tomorrow what you could do today. Today, enjoy yourself. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Enjoy it today. Find one thing. Enjoy it today. I'm the Game Ninja from Game Dojo in the heart of Gamer Nation. I'll check y'all out. Miami Vice. Watch that shit.